name's Sue McMahon and I'm cookery editor at Woman's Weekly magazine, and I'm going to show you how to make an almond and raspberry sponge. The actual sponge cake is a Genoese-based cake. So in the bowl I've got 5 large eggs, and I'm going to tip in 150 grams of caster sugar, and I'm going to add a few drops of almond extract. And then I'm going to whisk this on high speed until the mixture is very thick and frothy, and so a trail is left when the whisk is lifted out of the bowl. So this normally takes 5 minutes or so, and it's a lot easier to do if you have a tabletop mixer like this one. So it should be very thick and frothy when it's ready. So now I'm going to sift over the surface 125 grams of plain flour and 2 tablespoons of corn flour. And then this gets folded in, so I'm using a spatula to fold it in. Then when the flour is almost totally combined, I'm going to add 50 grams of ground almonds and 30 grams of melted butter. And the butter I'm pouring around the edge. So once it's all mixed, I need to divide it between 2 cake tins. And these are 2 20cm round sandwich tins, and I've buttered them and I've put a disc of baking parchment in the bottom of each. So to help make sure that I get the same amount of mixture in each tin, I'm going to put them on the scales and set the scales to 0. And I know that both these tins weigh virtually the same amount. So I'm going to tip in approximately half the mixture and then put the mixture in and make sure it's the same amount. So now they go in the oven at 180 degrees centigrade, which is gas 4, and they will take 20 to 25 minutes to cook. So while the cake is in the oven, you can make a syrup to pour on the cake when it comes out of the oven. I've got in the pan 4 tablespoons of water, and I'm adding 4 tablespoons of caster sugar. I'm going to stir this until the sugar dissolves. So once this has simmered just for 1 minute, I remove it from the heat and add a tablespoon of kirsch. And that's the syrup all ready now to put over the cake. So when the cakes are ready, they should spring back to the touch when they're lightly pressed, and they should be a nice golden colour. So you can take them out of the oven. And then while they're still hot, brush them with the warm syrup. And once I've put the syrup over them, I'll leave the cakes to cool in the tins for about 10 to 20 minutes, and then I'll turn them out and leave them to cool fully on the wire rack. The cake has a raspberry cream filling, so in the bowl I've got 1 punnet of raspberries. This was a 170 gram punnet, and I'm going to add to that a tablespoon of icing sugar and a tablespoon of kirsch. Then I'm going to mash the raspberries using the potato masher. So then for the cream, I've got 1 small carton of cream, and I'm going to add to that a tablespoon of icing sugar, and I'm going to whisk it until it forms soft peaks. So once that starts to hold its shape, I'm going to add it to the raspberries. And then stir it all together. As you stir it, it will thicken slightly. So that's the filling now ready to go in the cake. So to fill the cake, I'm going to take one of the layers of the cake and turn it upside down. And I'm going to spoon the filling onto it. And then I'm going to spread it out using a palette knife. And then the other half of the cake will sit on top. I'm just going to press them together very lightly. So that's the cake ready to coat in the cream. So the cream for coating the cake, I can whisk in the same bowl that I did the cream for the filling, and I've got another small carton of cream, so between 142 and 170 ml carton, and I'm going to add to that a tablespoon of icing sugar, and I'm going to whisk it until it forms soft peaks. So once the cream starts to hold its shape, it's ready. Just beat it a little bit more with a spatula. So now I'm going to put some cream on the top of the cake. And spread this out, trying to get the top quite flat. And then I'm going to start putting the cream around the sides of the cake. So to coat the sides of the cake, I've got the flaked toasted almonds on a sheet of baking parchment, and I scoop them up in my hand and press them against the sides. So once the sides have been coated with the almonds, you can then arrange some raspberries on the top. And then just before serving the cake, I dust over a little bit of icing sugar. So that's my finished almond and raspberry sponge.